Hello! This right here is Imperial Assault, and today I'm wearing a jacket because damn. So what is a Star Wars Imperial Assault? Well, as far as I can tell, it's basically just a slightly better version of Descent, but with Star Wars, and that's fine, that's good. And what's Descent? Well, Descent is a game where up to 4 heroes go through dungeons on a big campaign while another player gets to be the villain, has to stop them, and stops them largely by just bullying the weakest character because they've got like the worst trousers or something. It's a bit more complicated than that. Quinns will explain the rest.
What?
Thanks, Quinns. So yes, it's the beginning of a brand new saga of consistently expensive cardboard boxes full of toys. And it's got Star Wars written on it, which means you're probably shafted. But before we go and talk about why it's a little bit better than Descent, let's just generally talk about what it's like. Well, it's a game of heroes and villains and dice rolling and tactical combat, and it's with a bloody gigantic box and lots of manuals. We'll come back to that in a little bit, but God, there's a lot of reading to be done here. Lots of cardboard, lots of fun bits of plastic. I've actually got more plastic in this box because I've got all the expansions as well, which comes with another ATST, because you can't have too many ATSTs. But frankly, with all the other expansion stuff at the moment, feels a little bit light, and I'd wait till they do something proper and meaty. And my word, it's a beautiful game. Look at these miniatures, fantastic. You got all your favourite Star Wars things like Man with a Hat pointing, the Storm Men, the Hair Beasts. It's fantastic. I'm not being facetious, it's really good. And then you've got like different types of attack dice, 4 different types of attack dice for different ranges and attacks. And then 2 different types of defending dice. Ones that are like, oh, I'm hard, hit me, punch me in the face, I don't care. And being like, oh, look at me, I'm whimsical and I will avoid you like the plague. So your heroes rock up and they're strong and powerful and they've all got skills and they can do brilliant stuff, but then they spend stress to use their amazing skills and then they can't use their skills anymore, and all of a sudden everyone's just tired and useless and dying. Stormtroopers coming. Where are you?
Huh? Oh yeah, sorry, I'm just
knackered, you know what I mean? And look at the dinky ATST. Look, I know this is getting tedious, but trust me, anyone who buys this game is going to be doing that a lot. They're just going to be going, look at that. So just get used to it now. It's part of owning this. But it's not really even a game about combat. You've got a fairly robust, simple system that verges on being a bit crazy, actually, as you go on with all the caveats. But it's fine, because it's not even really a game about fighting. It's mostly a game about the rebels quickly legging it about, doing things with computers and then getting away before they get their asses handed to them on a space plate. And the thing is, it's really important that everyone you're playing with understands that, because if they don't, then you'll find yourself about 4 missions into the campaign and they'll have just been losing and losing and losing. So you've got a campaign full of missions just like this one, which I definitely didn't completely make up, where the rebels have got to get in and out, and they're probably all going to get killed, but they might not, and they have to activate computers or open doors. What's behind the doors? It's always one of these big cats. Always. I mean, if I have anything to do with it, literally always. And then what happens? Well, they get money, they get XP, they get new powers. They're like, oh, I'm going to do a better sniper rifle thing, or I'm going to get a thing for my gun that lets me throw different dice. And it's exciting, but then also the bad guy gets new things. Who's the bad guy? It's me. It's always me. And then the bad guy's good. He's got better stormtroopers. He's got secret things. He can just suddenly be like, oh, I'm throwing in some Trandoshan hunters out of nowhere. Or, oh, now you have to go on a special mission and fight Darth Vader. But we don't want to do that mission. Oh, you don't? Well, that means I automatically get Darth Vader in my arsenal forever. Well, maybe you should go and fight. I don't know. There's lots of clever things. You have a deck of side missions that's kind of a combination of random stuff that I've put in, being the baddie, and stuff that the goodies have chosen. And this random peppering of side missions gives a real sense of texture to the whole campaign, you know? Gives these moments of importance. So it's like, yeah, you get your chance to go and get your lightsaber. That's exciting. But at the same time, the baddie gets his moments as well. He gets the moment where something nasty turns up and everyone has a look of fear. And the great thing is we can all relate to these things, because everybody, whether they really like Star Wars or not, everyone knows these things. Everyone knows that Darth Vader is not somebody you want to mess with. Everyone knows that ATSTs are cool, but also dangerous. And everyone knows that Wookiees are just these sort of incomprehensible walls of hair. And because of that, you have this sort of shared language that creates a context that just makes the game inherently a lot more enjoyable as a kind of head-to-head adventure thing. Is that something that the game invented? No, it's just Star Wars. But does it matter? Yes. But despite that, it's still pretty crushing when things go wrong for the heroes. Look, I got an ATST, I got an ATST. It's still pretty crushing. You know, Han Solo didn't make it out. Lady Chops didn't get her lightsaber. You're sitting there being the bad guy and enjoying being the bad guy. But then you have to watch these four faces of your friends having such a horrible time just because you are so good at board games. Why can't they just enjoy that? But anyway, it's a problem. And it's a problem that Descent has as well. This thing of the fact that because you're playing this long campaign that will take you several days, that's exciting, that's cool. But also if it becomes one-sided. So it's a game which requires an element of role-playing here. You are technically just their opponent, but you're also kind of the GM. And if it feels like the game isn't going well, then you are going to need to balance that on the fly. You're going to need to tweak it a bit, go easy on them, either by role-playing in a dumb way of just having stormtroopers running into rooms and getting shot like they do, or by, you know, maybe giving yourself a bit less stuff, maybe taking away something quietly. It's difficult. You've got to balance it. And by the same merit, if you're the good guys and you're just destroying the person who is the baddie again and again and again and again, then maybe you've got to go a bit easier on them. It's a weird one, where with most competitive games, because they're so short, you have these explosions of conflict that can get quite brutal, but then you're done, and it's over. And people go, oh man, you really ruined me that game, but it's over. Whereas this is a long thing. It requires you maintain this ongoing relationship with the rest of the people you're playing with. It's strange. But if you're not up for that, then you're not up for this. If you're the sort of person who really loves winning and always has to aim to win, regardless of anything else, this is not a game you're going to enjoy. Well, it's not a game that your friends are going to enjoy playing with you. And that's enough about that, but it's just so vital. And it's a shame that the manuals don't even vaguely mention the fact that it's okay to slightly fudge it from time to time. Anyway, now for the things that make this better than Descent. Quentin!
Okay, let me start this by saying I love Descent. I love it exactly this much. All the same, Imperial Assault represents everything Fantasy Flight has learned since they made Descent 2nd Edition, and there is some stuff that it is just better at doing. Easily the biggest and most important change to Descent 2nd Edition is that in this game, heroes have something to achieve, but so does the Overlord. And all the fighting between monsters and stuff you're doing is only ever to stop you from achieving that objective. So you look at, as the Overlord, what the heroes have got. Oh, you've got armor, you can dodge. Oh, you're functionally naked. And then you would swarm that hero with monsters, ignoring the dude with a giant axe at the front. You'd knock over that hero, and then you'd keep hitting them. Stay down, you son of a bitch, which is no fun for that particular player, but it's quite efficient as an Overlord because you've knocked out your opponent's team's weakest member.
But here, bullying just isn't encouraged. Instead, you gradually pepper all of the heroes with damage until, oh no, that one gets flipped over. And now he's out. And he still gets to play. He's still in the game. He can still do stuff. He's not as good. But he's still there. But then you just start attacking someone else. And you win when everyone is just a bit knackered.
There's also very small structural stuff, though, that Imperial Assault does better. Like in Descent, the miss result, that means your attack just misses, is on one of the attacking dice. So you try and do that thing you wanted to do, and you've missed. Whereas in Imperial Assault, it's on the defense dice, which means your opponent will always hit, but you have the chance to dodge. And that's especially good in a team game, when everyone can be happy that you achieved that cool dodge. Another little improvement. In Descent, every turn monsters spawn from set spawn points and they run out, and then another monster spawn and they all run out, and then next turn another monster spawns, as if someone left a tap to hell running. It doesn't seem quite right. Whereas in Imperial Assault, the Overlord can hold back their Overlordy point things and then just spend them all at once as a whole new Stormtrooper squad bursts out from a cupboard or a bush or something, which is more cinematic and less silly. Descent has approximately 1,000 quests and about 4,000 heroes you can be. approximately. But I'm more envious of what Imperial Assault has, because you never get to see all this content in a campaign of Descent. Imperial Assault has something more focused, where it has missions that are about your character. You know what? You show up to play Descent, and this evening, it's all about you. It's the quest for the Jedi's lightsaber or to rescue the Wookiee's brother, and that's great! I used to do that when I mastered games of D&D, just shine the spotlight on a player. It's about them, and everyone enjoys that. Wah! Imperial Assault also has rules for cover and hiding behind things and shooting from behind things, which, while it might confuse people at first...
How about now?
Yeah, I can still see you.
Hmm?
Yeah. Yeah, I can still see you, Matt. Yeah.
That's good, right?
Yeah, still, I can still see you.
How about if I'm like... You can't see me now, can you?
Yeah. Eventually, players will get their head around it, and it adds a lovely bit of tactical depth to the game without adding many more rules. You also get rules for a skirmish game, you know, just one player's miniatures against another player's miniatures, as if you were doing a regular little miniatures war game that's balanced and that Fantasy Flight have shown a lot of support for, and that's like, it's just, you just get it for free in the box, and it's not fair.
But it's a bloody big box. So getting something else to do is good. Talking to things that are really good though, I love these reversible room tiles that you use to build up the maps. You can only build up the map on your own if you're the Imperial person, because you've got your little booklet which has all the secret things in it. All of the kind of like, you're not allowed to say about this because these are my secrets. Did I not mention that? Yeah, you can do mad things. There are things, you can hide things, you can spawn in things. They don't know what's going to happen, but you do, because you've got secrets in a book. But anyway, before that happens, you've got to make the maps. And it's tricky, because these things are always a pain. And the Zombie 15 in particular, I did not like making the maps for that. But this, fantastic, because they're all so simple designs that you can see in the manual what they are, even the little pictures. And they're reversible in a way, which is...
Matt, stop it. This is boring. You're boring everyone. This is boring.
No, it's not. They're reversible in a really consistent way. So you can just look at them and you go, well, that's a green, which means it's going to be...
It's boring. You're boring, Matt. This is boring.
But Paul, it's a clever little simple design thing that just makes it logistically much easier to set up the maps really quickly. And yeah, I suppose you're right. It is a little bit boring, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, I'm actually at a cool space party right now, so I've got to go. We're going to play a gig and I have to warm up my jizz instrument.
Sorry, what?
It's a legitimate part of Star Wars canon. Look it up on Google. Anyway, I have to go. Just try and be less boring.
They're really good. And it's beautifully simplified across the board up to a point. And there is a point where you kind of go, what? I mean, there are two rule books. One that's the basics and then one that's basically a manual of everything. And it does get fairly finicky at times, which is not cool when you're the person teaching people the game and also being the Imperials and they're waiting for you and you're looking things up. Slows things down, but you know, what else are you going to do? And finally, in a day and age of apps and all of that jazz, it's logistically not as neat as it could be. Putting your little character in a little bag with all of their equipment, all of their skills is fine, providing you're not planning to play more than one campaign at a time, in which case it's sort of a pain. And then also expecting you to use a photocopier or something, or a scanner to print out a sheet so you can fill it in with a pad and paper? Really? What is this? It's 2015, guys. Photocopiers have been illegal in the United Kingdom since the Great Toner Wars of 2003. Show some respect.
Help me, Matt Lees. You're my only hope.
Paul, I thought we agreed that you weren't going to do that.
We can do this. It's not going to go in the video. I mean, you know, you wouldn't just... My mother watches these. How do I turn off? Can we, on the hologram projection that I do to you, there's an undo, isn't there? So, like, everything that I've just done, I can just undo that, can't I? That's, like, where is it? It's Control-Z. Instagram filters, no. I've just liked my own video.
And that's it. So you'll need a fairly big table. This one doesn't quite suffice. A group of committed friends who are willing to slightly fudge things around if it's not quite working. And that's about it. It's all about that shared fun of Star Wars. Everybody knows what it looks like when a stormtrooper gets shot up. And that's cool. And it makes this game a lot more fun. It's a lot of fun.
Chop chop.
What's this?
Oh, it's I told Paul that I'd use After Effects to make him look like an Ewok.
But you haven't done that.
No.
Do I've checked like there's it. Are my ears up here now? Do I?